Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? Yeah, so every Friday we talk about social media, and today we are looking at the topic unrealistic standards. Unrealistic standards. A lot of times you see people setting one kind of standard or the other that is totally unrealistic. It's unattainable and excessively high. A lot of times it stems from societal expectations, your own personal individual expectation, and a lot of other factors that are being considered to setting the standards that eventually become unrealistic. So today we are looking at the topic unrealistic standards, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube on Equa Television International. Please do join us in this discussion. I'm not doing this alone. I have with me on the set today Solomon Sambo. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank God it's Friday.
Exactly. Joyce, thank God it's Friday.
Yes.
In absentia.
Yes. Prudence Burger, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Fine.
Thank God it's Friday or my generation.
Which one?
None.
Both.
I know it's both. Yeah, so today being Friday, we're talking about unrealistic standards. At what point, why would people just decide to set a standard that you know that beyond all doubt, all cannot achieve that? So why would you want to set something that is unrealistic?
For someone to set an unrealistic standard, I think he's not being real about himself. You are not being truthful about yourself, because the biggest lie that you lie is to lie to yourself. And when you are lying to yourself, but you can lie to someone that probably, maybe till the person dies, he will not know that you lied to him one time like that. But the moment you are thinking of lying about yourself, you know that you are lying. So sometimes the problem starts by us, individual. What do you want to achieve? Some people, yes, they will say, if you don't lie, you will not achieve certain things, or you will not get certain attentions. That's why people will go ahead to go and borrow clothes, to go and borrow cars, just because you want to visit a girlfriend. Do you understand? Yes. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. So it all starts by you lying to yourself. And you know what the Bible says, concerning the person who lies. You understand? And you know the end. The end is destruction.
And you know who your father is.
Father
of all lies.
All lies.
All liars.
You understand? So that's the reason why, because social media is that open that you find the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then the activities there, tend to put the social media on a bad light, that people are seeing it as if it's is a place whereby all manner of atrocities, is going on there. And then people feel like, okay, that social media platform is not a place that people should maybe be. And if you agree with me, at some point, even today, there are some parents that are really, really not cool with that issue of social media because of what they think the outcome will always be, because they feel people that spend more time there turn out to be negative in nature, which is not true. So it all starts with you. Who are you? Why are you created? You ask yourself, why am I created? And then for what? And what am I to achieve in life? So it starts from that. And then you said, okay, by this is how to go. This is how to plan. This is who I am. This is my standard. And I'm presenting it the way it is, even when I keep working on hard to improve where I'm coming from, who I am at right now, what I want to be tomorrow. So it all starts from individual. So sometimes, and then again, influence of where someone is coming. If you have a cycle of people that you feel you want to brag, even if they are not bragging, but you feel you want to brag for them, it helps someone to set the wrong standard for himself simply because you want to oppress. Or you feel like somebody is living large and you don't want to be left out. And you create that picture that this is who you are up to the standard, you measure up. While every night you are crying, lamenting, you are struggling because you can't meet up. So it is very, very important for us to know that you have to cut your material. You cut your material according to your size. It is very important. But sometimes you see, you can't blame people. Blame people in the sense that the kind of world we are today is a world of competition. That so many fake things are out there, and people fall for those fake things. And that's why our world is what it is today. Unless for people that really know who they are and what they want to achieve in life, and they are taking it easy.
Somewhere within the year, a celebrity wore a very nice outfit for a closing ceremony. And honestly, the day I saw them, it was like, wow, who sat down to do this? It was too elaborate. And then there were a lot of people going around to say, please don't go and stress your tailor that you want to do these clothes, because if you know how much was spent on this very attire itself, if you're going to use the real materials that were used for this cloth, if you're going to spend as much as he spent, you have no clue how much you will spend for just one cloth. And people were going around doing that form of awareness so that people would not be extravagant and try to mimic that style. And so why would someone decide to even write something as comprehensive as this? Because he knows the influence that the celebrities have. Something that goes off in the social media has massive influence to people, with people around. So already standards have been placed in the world. You're saying things on the social media, and sometimes you just wish that you could do something like that. But it is, as Solomon said, there are certain things that you cannot do because you have not gotten to that level yet. So you have to be true. Tell yourself the truth. If I cannot attain what this person is wearing and I want to look like the person, how much effort and work would I build myself to get to the point that I can easily afford it? That's not a problem, because it's just pushing you to work. But for some people, it's not even the fact that it's just pushing them to work. It is the fact that it pushes them to live in what we call fake life, what we call fronting. Just because you don't want your steez to not be to die out, you want to feel steez, right? You want to feel on top of the world. I'm a happening person. I'm cool. You now think of doing extravagant things that you cannot ordinarily afford. And another thing that we really need to understand, and I think that people out there should understand, that if you see a celebrity wearing something, honestly, think again, because some of these celebrities, they are giving clothes by the brand and say, please
wear this
for these hours,
for so event,
or wear this for this event,
because they are promoting.
Exactly, they are promoting their brand. So at the end of the day, he's paying nothing. Instead, he's being paid for wearing the clothes. And so, who are you? And what are your expectations? You need to weigh that. You can't set for yourself unrealistic standards just because people are doing something and I want to just go ahead and feel among. I want to be that person that people would see and applaud me. It is not always that way. There are times that you need to bury your head. Even the celebrities that you look up to and you take them as gods, sometimes some of them will tell you, I'm taking off social media to have mentality. Why would they do something like that? Because they know ordinarily that this life is not all of it that is the truth about me. There's more to me than just what people are saying out there. So I need to go back and work on me and see how I can better me. And so they go back to their shell for a period of time, and some people ask him, where is this person and where's that person? And he comes back and you're like, what happened to him over this time? He looks better. Because he understands the value of him. And so he took time out to know what he can present and build himself more. As a person, have you built yourself to the point of expecting or having the standards that you're having? Same thing, as a lady, if you see this is the standard of the man you want to marry, have you built yourself to reach that man's standards? So these are the things that you should also be looking at. You cannot just like we talked about support yesterday, you cannot just expect things to fall into your laps if you have not made an effort towards them. And so you cannot have expectations or standards when you have not built yourself to the point that these things are feasible for you. Because not everything is feasible for everybody. So you have to look into that, look at yourself, and honestly, I'm not sure which of you mentioned it earlier. The world has standards, and so everybody has a specific expectation from you. And because of the expectations that you are having from people, some people tend to push themselves into debt. For instance, I've spoken on this set one time about how people are setting unrealistic standards for their weddings. And you're expecting that, my wedding day is going to be glam, is going to be just, and you have a lot of, the list is quite long. No, you saw this at this royal wedding, or you saw it at this celebrity wedding, and you think you can do it. But you don't know the money they sunk into that. You don't even have it. But you're already having that standard. If my wedding is not up to that standard, I'm not doing it. And so at the end of the day, the pressure is mounting and mounting and mounting, and you're soaking and soaking in debt because you want to meet up that standard. You cannot go about living your life indebted because you want to meet up standards. In fact, it's even better that you're living your life without any form of debt, in peace, and you're managing your life like that, than for you to be glamorous and everybody's seeing you and that you're glowing, but you are full of debt. Because it becomes detrimental not to you alone, but also people that are associated with you.
And setting standards is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a very good thing, because
Absolutely.
it means that you're attaching worth to yourself. You're attaching worth to your name, to your lifestyle, and to everything. But then when it becomes unrealistic, when it becomes too much, that is where the problem is. And then when you're setting standards, do you just set standards based on what Prudence and Solomon have set for themselves? So I want to show them that, okay, me too, I can set standard, I know how to. You have to sit down and ask yourself questions before you arrive at the standard that you are setting. By so doing, it does not become unrealistic. A lot of people get carried away. We're talking about social media today, right? And then a lot of people get carried away by the social media, because the kind of life that people live on social media is a polished life, is a ready-made life, is a life that has
easy
is
life.
void, easy soft life, is void of anything, sweat, stress, and all of that. And then the expectations are very high, the bar is really, really high. And then when you just land on social media, you just want to see the gold that has been refined. You have no idea the process that gold has gone through. It was very ugly and it was not a good sight to behold, but you're only seeing the finishing result. And that is the expectation you're setting for yourself. At the end of the day, you see people that look extremely gorgeous, beautiful. I say, that is the skin I want for myself. You see people that have nice shapes. that is the shape I want for myself. You don't know what they have gone through. If what they did was negative to arrive at that shape, or whatever it is, your own is that you have set a standard and you must do it by hook or by crook. And that is where people get it really, really wrong.
Absolutely.
Because you're setting your standard based on what someone else have done. A lot of times you hear people say that I like this about Prudence, I like this about Solo, but they don't say I like this that is bad about Prudence, I like this that is bad about Solo. It's only the positive ones.
Yeah.
When you are setting standard, even if I am looking at Prudence for my motivation, I should also know that Prudence has her own faults.
Yes.
And then if she was able to attain this standard in 2 years, then I should not think, okay, I can attain this standard in 1 year or 6 months. I think that is what this generation is caught out to doing. You see someone that is already well established and you say, 2 months, give me 2 months, I will do what this person is doing. When you're setting standard, you have to sit yourself down and ask questions before you arrive at the standard that you're setting. And then you also have to leave space, leave room for mistakes and errors. We're all imperfect human beings striving to be perfect. So you have to leave some room, leave some space for you to be perfect. And that brings me to the question, how do you differentiate between healthy ambition and unrealistic standards? Because a lot of times you hear people saying that, well, this is my ambition, and it is actually unrealistic. But I know myself, I know I can do this, but deep within you, you know that you cannot do it. So how do you put a line between a healthy ambition and then an unrealistic standard?
I think that it's not something that is just something that someone out there can just tell you, right? Healthy ambition, you've seen where you're coming from, and you know this is what I want to do,
And you know your strength.
And so you look at how much you build yourself, and you're working daily towards attaining that, one step at a time, with resilience, with patience, and with all necessary care. And when it becomes an unrealistic standard is when you are giving yourself a certain time frame, like you mentioned earlier, and you know that it is impossible.
Or saying next year by this time I'll be a medical doctor, but I've not gotten form yet.
Thank you very much. Something like that. You know that it is impossible. It's something that you cannot even see it coming into possibility. Not to talk of reality. So it's not even a possibility, right? You're looking at see, for instance, you talk about how certain people have built themselves over time. Recently I was listening to an interview about someone, and they were asking him about the quality of his voice and how his voice garners attention. It just calls for attention. And he said, his work. You cannot just get that authority into your voice in one day. It's something that you have to continuously be doing over time. And this is just your voice, something that you have within you. And for you to get to that point, there was a lot of work. There was training, there was work, there was you watching and telling yourself, okay, I made this mistake and I made that error. Tomorrow I would not do it again. And so at the end of the day, it becomes you have polished it and you have made it presentable, that when you open your mouth to say something, people are turning. And so you had to put in the work. This is an ambition. While someone who is not even ready to to put in the work will tell you, my voice will become like this person. And he's relaxed and he's not doing anything about it. Isn't that an unrealistic standard? So it's just what makes it real is what you have within you that can make it possible. That is what makes it a realistic standard. What is it that I have within me as a person? What qualities do I have that would make it possible for what I am dreaming of to come into fruition? If I went to art class all my life, I've been in the arts line of profession, and then suddenly I decide that I'm going to be a medical doctor next year. How is that gonna be possible? it's not going to be possible. See, so you have to be very truthful to yourself, and that's the only way that you can tell the truth. I mean, the difference between an ambition, a healthy ambition, and an unrealistic standard. A healthy ambition is that I have seen that I can do this thing, however long it takes. Gradually, one step at a time, I will get to this point. An unrealistic standard is that there's no possibility here on earth that will make it possible for me to get to that point. So right now, I need to build myself to the point that it could be possible. But if you are not even thinking of building yourself to the point that it is possible, then it becomes an unrealistic standard. So all in all, an unrealistic standard could over time become an ambition because of the efforts that you put in towards it. But you have to be truthful to yourself and tell yourself it is not time or it is time. See, for instance, you talked about earlier on. You talked about how you would see someone who is doing something, and then because the society has accepted the person, the body type, or the clothes, or whatever the person is wearing, and you're saying, "Oh, I love this, and I'm going to attain it," and you're not looking at all the struggles that you go through. Some people look at reality television shows and think that life is exactly like you see in reality shows. But one thing you forget is that reality shows, majority of them, are scripted. So how true? Where is you've not filtered what is true and what is not true about this reality show. And so you're setting your standards based on this thing that you saw. And it will not get there. You cannot get there, because the person who even got to that point is because he scripted it. And he's following his script. So you have to be conscious, look at your environment and see what is it that I have within me that I can utilize to make myself a better person, rather than just creating standards that you would never be able to attain.
True.
When you talk about a healthy ambition, I would say it's something that you are dreaming, right?
Yeah.
And then you're working towards it. Like everything about you, like it's been tilted towards that ambition of yours. And then I know there are instances whereby somebody wakes up with the ambition of being a medical doctor, like from primary school. You see him like working towards that. Secondary school, then at SS1, right? You see the person choosing science class, and then at the end of it all, the person will not end up being a medical doctor, right? So for that, who will you blame? You can't blame him, right? He has done his best, but it's just that destiny did not choose him to be a medical doctor. There are exceptions.
True.
There are exceptions. So we just have to make this thing clear. You understand? There are exceptions. And there are some that definitely, yes, you want to be a medical doctor. You know you have to attend science classes, you know, and then you get admission into university, and then they give you medicine, right? And then from there, you keep studying. Some is because of the cutoff, whatever, mark, that some of them fall off. Is either they give you one related, but it's still but it's still yes, it's still the medical line. Some fall off to be pharmacies, you know,
zoology,
yes, and so on and so forth. But you see, still is the line. Just imagine that the person is hoping that he's going to be a medical doctor. That means it's a medical line. Even if he ends up not being a medical doctor, it's a medical line.
And it's something that over time, the possibility of you redirecting your attention to actually doing medicine, it is possible.
It's possible again.
His standards are not unrealistic in this situation. It's just that the environment at this moment is not suitable for him, or is favorable to him, and so he is opting for a lesser standard.
Standard.
Lesser standard. But it's not unrealistic. It's something that it is possible. I've seen people from the anatomy line moving to medical sciences. We've seen so it's not something that is overly impossible. We've seen journalists becoming lawyers, and we've seen lawyers becoming journalists. It's possible, right? And so what he said is that what makes it a realistic and healthy ambition is that you are working towards it. You're putting in the effort. You're not just sitting down and folding your arms and like, I'll get there.
How?
You're not doing anything. How on earth would you get there?
And when you talk about script, people live based on vague life. It's just you telling yourself that I want to live by lies. And it starts by you. You understand? It starts by you. You choosing what you want to become. Is it you being truthful to yourself or you being a liar to yourself? And if you're a liar to yourself, you'll be a liar to everybody.
True.
That's just it. Because if you're truthful to yourself, if you're truthful, truly you are truthful to yourself, we will see the manifestation. We will see the product. We will see the fruit manifesting. But if you are a liar, you lie to yourself. That's when you begin to see the fruit of lie manifesting. That's when you set standards that you cannot meet up. And when they tell you that, even if you see the dangerous part of it is that even if they are telling you that this thing is not realistic, think about this. Why don't you think about this? Why don't you go this way? Normally, those kind of people will be telling you no. They are bent to that thing simply because they feel there's something that they are protecting. And they will tell you no. Is this thing, and you will not see the result really coming, and then you'll be like, and that's why you talk about help, and that's why some people don't see help up to today, because already the reality is not there, and you are looking for help for that thing. Who will help you?
Sure.
Do you understand? So we just have to be truthful to ourselves, and you see, setting unrealistic standard. Sometimes I can say, living life without contentment.
Yes.
Yeah, if
It
you
plays
allow
a
me.
lot of role.
Yeah, it plays a lot of role. You understand? You are
'Cause
living
you're
your life.
busy making comparisons.
Yes, you are not contented with what you have and where you are at the moment, and then working towards what you want to become in the future. And you see, that's why people don't accept where they are, and that's why they raise that bar that they can't meet up. If you are contented with who you are and where you are at the moment, I should post myself with this cloth. I should not go extra mile, adding pressure on me, going to Prudence to beg for her clothes and wear for me to snap and then post. And then call her, please, can you give me this your seat? Please, I want to sit down. And then snap and then post. Or use her car. Do you understand? So, like, every day you are thinking of, okay, after Prudence, now Prudence has traveled to Lagos. There's no car. There's no her office that I will use or her parlor. Now I'm thinking of Jemima. Now I just have to come and say all manner just to convince you to just borrow that thing, or to borrow your car, or to your space to snap, or to do something just so that I will post. So the life continues like that. And then you see that you are just piling up pressure on you. And the worst part of it is that at the end of the day, people will know that you are even lying.
Exactly. And setting unrealistic standards brings about dissatisfaction.
Exactly.
You will never be satisfied.
Nothing is
because
going
that
to be
standard is
beautiful
not
to you.
even real
To start with.
So you will not be satisfied. You constantly want to keep going and going. Just when you feel like, okay, when I get to where this cup is, I'll be satisfied. By the time you get there, you see that you want more. Because it is not realistic. But when you have realistic standards, just like you have just said now, you are contented with where you are right now, but you are working towards going further in life. But when it is unrealistic, there is nothing that will make you satisfied at any point in time. It is really important that we really set standards that are realistic. Yes, setting standards is the beautiful thing, but it also have to be realistic so that someone else is just looking out to what you're doing, to learn and then set his own. But imagine yours is not realistic. Then how? And then you hear people also saying that I am setting unrealistic standard so that it will serve as a motivation for me to work harder. So what makes you think setting a standard that is unrealistic is a motivation for you to work harder?
Why is that person not thinking about other people that set unrealistic standard and they are depressed?
Exactly.
That leads them to suicide.
We should learn from people.
You know,
right?
what's both of you just said just reminded me of the story. Honestly, sometimes I read the Bible and I'm just wowed and awed. And it's just funny how someone, so his was not even an unrealistic standard. Let's be honest, right? He is rich and he had a bountiful harvest. He needed to open up barns, yes, so that he would store up his grains. And then he said, now I can just sit down, relax and enjoy my grains. It was not an unrealistic standard though. But you see the God that we are serving, interesting as he is, he said, today.
So was a stingy standard. Because he said, I will eat and marry like forever. So it means there was no plan of sharing.
And there was not just plan of sharing, there was no even plan of even putting in more work. He was just going to eat and marry. And that's how some people are approaching life. Because you want to just eat and marry. And at that moment, Jesus Christ said, you fool, today your life is demanded of you. So when you're setting standards, sometimes we forget that our lives are momentary. You forget the place of God, where God said, a man, or rather, God saying it through his servant, that it is appointed for man to plan, but it is God who brings it into possibilities, right? And so you go about making these plans without the room of the possibility of it failing. That's another thing about unrealistic standards. They are always thinking that they will get there. They cannot see the possibility of things not working out the way they are picturing it to be. So they are expecting, like exactly when I said you will go to someone and you're looking for help. Unrealistic standard. Yesterday you mentioned something after the show, and I'm going to say it today. So this person comes and she's begging for money for food for she and her children, and she's telling the other person
the amount she wants.
And when she's giving something less, she's complaining that she did not
change it, give me a higher.
So this is an unrealistic. You're begging. If you are giving it, thank you, appreciate it. But if you're giving less, appreciate what you're giving. It doesn't really matter how much it is you get right now. It would help you, right? And so some people, that's how they live their lives. Because of the standards they've placed for themselves, they cannot even afford living that lifestyle. So they go about begging people, and when people cannot afford their own lifestyle, they become angry.
And then you become angry for something you cannot provide for yourself.
Because already the person is lying to himself.
Exactly. So that's one thing that unrealistic. You mentioned the not being contented with where you are. That's one thing that unrealistic standards does. It makes you see all the bad things rather than all the good things. And so when depression sets in, because you were unreal from the beginning, you were not real to yourself.
And that's the danger. That's the danger. I know we are looking at setting an unrealistic standard. Okay, what happened? What happened if what you are thinking? Because you can say not everybody that sent unrealistic standard that today we will say the person is bragging that yes, he has met it, but you can't rule out. There are some with some kind of unrealistic, but the thing is that you ask the process which they attend to, even if you can point one. That's the point. Even if you can point one, you check. I I can't see anyone that will set an unrealistic standard and get it right in the correct way. I can beat my chest. Even if the person, at the end, like he met that particular standard, I don't think it's a smooth and a healthy one.
See,
I don't think.
I think it's one thing, right? About unrealistic standards. It's not even so much about what people perceive about what you're doing. Rather, it is about what you can do or what you perceive that you can do. For someone, I can set up standards for myself, and this person is thinking, you would never attain it. I've heard people saying that, and they told that to someone close to me, that this man that you're looking for, you will never get him. But she got him. In fact, even better than what she perceived in the first time. So, was that an unrealistic standard? No. But for someone that was watching from another place, the person was looking like, this girl is being unreal.
Okay.
She
So
cannot.
you see,
So
the
you have
difference
to
that
be
is somebody that is telling you.
exactly.
But to her, is a realistic one because
Exactly.
she's determined and she know how to get the person. So we have to get that right. You know, you can
Exactly.
set your standard and they are realistic. But some people can just see it and say, Prudence, are you okay? How on earth do you think you can become a governor of Gombe State? How on earth? You are joking. Do you understand? Somebody can just tell you that while Prudence is there working, doing her grassroots, meeting people, having the right connection.
And eventually becomes.
Yes, she's
Exactly.
working towards it. To you are seeing it as unrealistic because you even tell yourself there has never been a female governor to start with.
Yeah.
Talk more of you becoming a first female. We saw what happened in Adamawa. It was just a slim chance that history would have
being
made, you know, in Adamawa State. You know, but you know, when she was contested, people were like, is she okay
where we should
in
go.
this kind of settlement? You know, coming from the north, a woman for that matter, blah blah. People say all sorts of things, but she really worked really hard and she shook that state. And even people know that, okay,
There's
yes,
possibility.
this woman, she wasn't joking.
Yeah.
So for her, you won't say that when people were
was
saying it's
unrealistic.
unrealistic, but at the end they were like, okay, so this woman really know what she was doing. Oh, see how she shook the state and the rest. So we have to check that. And you see, when I said sometimes when you set an unrealistic whatever, it is difficult for you to get there, like in a clean sheet. What I mean, you see people setting some kind of standard they are unrealistic and they do some kind of dubious thing to get there. That's the point I'm trying to make. You see that somebody saying, okay, I want to buy a car of so million. But when you look at his own whatever, and he's not doing anything, like legit for him that you can rightly say that, yes, this person can buy this car. But the person can go by doing ritual or by stealing to get to that unrealistic whatever. You understand? But not in a clean way. So that's the point I'm trying to make. People will set unrealistic and then go the other way and do all sort of dubious things. And you see, because we established that the world can just motivate you
Yes.
to set an unrealistic standard because they will give you reason why you should set the standard, and they will give you how you will meet the standard, not according to God's standard. And you will get there. And that's what we are discouraging. Because you can't set a standard that will lead you to go and steal or to embezzle simply because you want to send your children to school abroad. And you embezzle from your office because you have access to the phone. Or you can't set a standard, this is what you do, and then you go and give your mother or your father for rituals or your sibling just to get there. There are some people that today, that those kind of standard, you know, is haunting them. Today they are regretting. They are saying, I die no. You understand? Yes, they wanted the money in this magnitude. They got the money. But their life is being streamed down. And they tell you, you can only live for 5 years. And then you have to spend so amount of money per day. And then you are struggling. It's either you're going just throwing money anyhow simply because you just want to meet up to that demands or that standard that the world have set. So we just have to be careful. And you see, lack of contentment, like I said earlier, that's what will lead to that. So you just have to be contented and then make your own plans. Trust God that you have your own plans and He make it come to pass. By you working on it and seeing what destiny has for you. I think that's just it.
True.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
true.
you, Solomon Sambo. Thank you so much. Prudence, thank you
Pleasure.
so much. Setting unrealistic standard is not good. It's not something that should be worth emulating. You should set standards for yourself that is achievable in the short time or in the long run. At the end of the day, it is totally okay for you to set standards and try to set standard based on something that is beyond you, but not overboard. So set standard on things that you know that you can achieve. If you push yourself, you can achieve this and you can achieve that. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion, and I hope that you have a great weekend. Until we come your way next week, do have a blessed weekend. Bye.